Okay, so we got a Dodge Ram 2500. This one's a heavy duty, but it's a gas engine with a Hemi, and so they kind of use the same transmission as they use in the diesels, and I'll explain that here in just a sec. But I just wanted to start off with, sometimes these rigs come in the door. This one looks like it's probably like a construction vehicle or whatever, and yeah, so being that it kind of works in the dirt, it gets dirty. And there's a lot of dirt here all along this whole frame. I mean, that's how much dirt we were able to get from the cross members and the mounts and the transfer case, and there's the other cross member there, the big one, and there's the small one. But yeah, a lot of dirt out of this thing, and they just accumulate over time, and it is part of what these things do. You can see there's still a ton up here I got to get cleaned off. It's just all caked on, piled on, but that's part of it. And taking this thing out, using a lot of Izine to get all the dirt and dust out of your eyes. Even if you use safety glasses, it just they work majority, but not really all the time. So it is what it is. This is just part of the job. Anyway, just wanted to kind of show, sometimes you just got to get dirty in some of these, and that's what happens. So let's get over to the bench. Okay, so here we are. This one is designated as a 66 RFE. The one they put in the diesels are a 68 RFE. Very, very similar in a lot of aspects, except for clutch count. There'll usually not be as many clutches in a 66 as a 68. And also there's some thicknesses with the different plates, a little bit smaller valves in the valve body and all that stuff. So there are some small differences, but a lot of it does interchange as far as the gearing and stuff goes. So they just primarily like putting these in behind the gassers, and then the 68 for a little bit more of a heavier duty application to behind the diesels. Now, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody doing an interchange where they threw a 68 where a 66 was. I think you would have to change some software in the computer for the how it actually shifts it with pressure rise and all that kind of stuff. But in any case, this is what we got, and got her all tore down. We had some issues with this thing shifting pretty bad. It was not wanting to go in, I believe, third, fourth, and fifth, or maybe it was fourth, fifth, and sixth. I can't remember exactly. I just knew I really couldn't even get it down the road, so I just brought it back to the shop and parked it, and fluid was dirty. So anyway, got our part, and yeah, so we got some pretty burnt clutches, just like on all the other ones. So this set right here is the overdrive clutch, and you can see where it kind of started digging itself in a bit, and these clutches are pretty worn out, a little darkened. I mean, they should have this color like this, more of a brownish, and these are more black. Now they do make like a high energy clutch, and sometimes they come black, but usually when I get them, they're usually brown. The biggest one though was the forward clutch, or they call the underdrive clutch. The top one, you can see it's brown, kind of it, but then at the end here, you can see where it's got some burn to it, and then it starts burning, and then the rest of them are all just burnt, flaking off really bad. Just got really overheated and hot, and I'll show you the reason why. So this is something that does happen with these units right there. So these are accumulators, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, and each one of them reduces the amount of pressure needed to apply each clutch, so that it gives it more of a smooth transition to each gear, so you're not getting a hard bang into gear. If you put like a heavy shift kit in it, they'll change these guys, put different springs in them to make them hit harder, but they're designed to help soften each shift to you where you don't have that going on. But what happens is, with this particular situation, you can see where it blew out this plate, and there was some screws. You can see where the screw heads here, there was 2 of them, well actually 3. They're all stripped out of there, and what happened was the line pressure on this thing got incredibly high and ended up blowing these out. Now, how did the line pressure go out? Well, here's the solenoid block for this unit, and they're pretty much identical to the 68 also. This is the governor pressure regulator solenoid that's part of it. You can see all the garbage on the back side of it there. Probably got a little clogged up with some garbage in there. Can't move that pin tool. And then when the computer commands the pressure it needs, it's either going to go too far or not far enough, and probably on this one went too far, caused it to blow out. So there's also another pressure control which goes on the back of the case here on the outside. That's called the pressure regulator solenoid. So that goes from the computer to there, and then from there to there to tell this guy what to do. So a lot of times this guy can get shorted out too with some harnesses that will short out and then cause this guy just to go crazy, and then you can have this problem too. So there's different variables of why this happens, but it's not uncommon for this to happen. Sometimes also in the pump, grab this guy here, this pressure regulator valve here can get stuck too, and stuck wide open and not come back and have issues there. You can also have problems with this valve here in the for the torque converter. That could be an issue, or the pump is warped, and that can cause problems. Normally when a pump warps though, you normally have a low pressure problem and that wouldn't happen. This is a high pressure problem, obviously, because it just blew those out like crazy. So what I do on every one of my builds is that I do get a kit that upgrades this plate to a heavier duty, thicker one, so that if for some reason pressure does run away, it doesn't cause this problem. Normally then you can get to it by just changing the solenoid block or changing that pressure regulator solenoid before having to create damage, because once this happened, that's how this all started going. And because obviously you got a major internal leak now, computer's still commanding this thing to shift, it's trying to apply all the clutches in the drums, and they just can't hold because there's not enough pressure to be able to keep them in place. So it's a domino effect of how one thing goes to another to another. The other thing that I noticed too on this one is that the transmission cooler filter sits here, it threads in, I can unthread it by hand. And so with that being loose like that, that could also cause pressure problems too with cooler flow and those things. So different combinations of different things here, but at the end it's 100% repairable. Seen them come in the door like this before, repaired them. I got a little kit that will fix all the screw holes and replace all the new screws along with that new plate. And then there are some things in the kit to allow runaway pressure too, so if there's a problem, it shouldn't have this issue with that valve body and those accumulators. So anyway, getting this thing back together, I got all the parts here we need to get her done, and yeah, it's going to take a few washes to get this case clean, because it's pretty caked on with a lot of red dirt, earth dirt, whatever. But it's fine. We'll get her cleaned, get her all clean, painted up, and making it looking nice. I mean, we've got some pretty good caked on onto the pan too, but we'll get it all cleaned up. It'll come out looking nice. So anyway, here's the video on this one. We'll see you on the next one.